I assume you're pointing. I'm pleased you're all back. I've been asked to speak today about the ability to focus and how focus is so important. One of the things about focus is it relates very closely to what we talked about last week, which was having consciousness and being able to hold our consciousness. There are a multitude of examples that we all run across every day that in which we can practice our consciousness, practice our breathing, and I believe I spoke a little bit last week about the importance of learning to breathe, learning to take a slow breath to the count of 4, holding it for 4, slowly letting it out. That exercise brings our consciousness right to our immediate moment, which enables us, with oxygen in the brain, to be able to evaluate the situation that we're in. And focus is just that. So we need the steps to grab our consciousness, to focus on what is in front of us. Now, when something is in front of us, at one level, there's a little voice inside of us. As a matter of fact, there's 2 or 3 of them. And one little voice will say, oh, goody, goody, I want to do this. This is important. And the other little voice will say, not in your life. And when we have a task in front of us that we really don't want, it's easy for us to be able to understand that we don't want to do it. Because in those situations, we wash the car, do the windows, and my dead giveaway when I don't want to do something is the fact that I think the fridge needs to be cleaned. And the moment I know the fridge needs to be cleaned, I know that there is a task that I must deal with. If I want to have a calm existence and achieve my overall goal, I had better deal with whatever it is as opposed to the fridge. Now, I would expect in each of your lives, you too have something that represents cleaning the fridge. This is part of knowing ourselves. The knowledge we can reap and test, the better off we're going to be. Since I believe all of you are involved in sales of some sort, you will have this idea about what you're supposed to be doing, what is necessary to do. You will also, in all likelihood, have read a few books about Mary Smith's or George Powell's 10 Easy Steps to Success. When we try and take someone else's direction, someone else's approach to being focused, to achieving our goal, we're going to fall flat in our face. And the reason for that is we are unable to carry that through. If we're not true to ourselves, how can we possibly achieve the things that we want to achieve? Am I making sense here, or have I gone too fast?
I get it, but I've been down this road once. I'll let somebody else respond too.
No, it's very clear, Phyllis. Thank you.
Okay, so everybody feels that way?
Sorry, I mute myself just to be safe. Yeah, no, that's good.
Yes.
Good. I have to stop every once in a while because I do have a tendency to drive off the edge. So I need to make sure that you're with me. The importance of knowing how we trip ourselves up is we can't put words around that. A tool that is most valuable is to start the habit of asking ourselves questions. What do I want to achieve? And, you know, it's so simple for us to say, well, I want to achieve $1 million. I want to achieve 5 new contracts, all the rest of these things. The probability of all of that is not very good unless we're able to put one foot in front of the other. And we must also acknowledge the fact that may not be part of our life path. Unfortunately, we think of being able to focus in order to make money. And God forbid, we know money is important. We need money to exist in this plane. But we also have a whole bunch of other areas where we have wealth. Now, in the process of asking yourself questions and checking where you are in the moment, you'll be able to find out what your truth is around, do I really need more money? Is my environment what I want it to be? How can I change it? Now, I've opened a tin of worms here because our environment, as much as we don't consider it that often, is of utmost importance for us to be able to achieve whatever it is we're setting up for ourselves, whether it is to make 5 new calls or to write 10 letters. If we're not comfortable in our environment, then we're not going to achieve the goals that we set out for ourselves. So if it means that we have to clean our desk before we start writing, if that is one of your traits, you must acknowledge that, and you must move toward keeping a clean desk. Now, there are some people, such as myself, I can write. I have a pile of papers around me. Not everyone can handle that. But for me, it works. You need to find out what makes you work. The other thing that we need to check is, what does our body need? For instance, do we need to limit our coffee? Because if we have too much, before we know it, we're buzzing and we really don't know where we're going. Do we need more fresh air? Do we need more light? What do we need to enable us to be comfortable and to be prepared to focus our consciousness? Now, all of these things sound as if they're out there in Lululand, and they don't relate to focusing on making sales. And I'm going to suggest to you that these things are vital for making sales. It's only when we are following our path, our truth, keeping ourselves balanced, that we are able to project that energy to whoever we meet. And if we're able to do that, to present ourselves in a comfortable state, other people pick up on it. Now, for example, the dress code in North America has sort of slipped in the last 5 years from what it was 25 years ago. So maybe, or even 10 years ago. So maybe every once in a while, the men have to get out of the jeans and into a suit, or the women we have to get out of our sandals and our jeans and actually put on some makeup and actually get dressed up. Now, I don't think any of us will say that we don't feel good when we look in the mirror and think, I look good. Right?
Absolutely.
Right.
That's part of the focus. That's part of the package that you're presenting to the rest of the world. And God forbid that I think you should be in a suit all the time. And women should never have to wear heels. But we can look good dressed casually. That allows us not to be concerned when we're meeting someone and talking to someone. Oh my God, is my slip showing? Have I got on 2 color socks? Whatever. Because we know if we're not put together right. Make sense?
Yes.
Clearly.
So, if you need to face a situation in which you're feeling uncomfortable or edgy or concerned, to think, oh God, I don't want to blow this. Something you can do for yourself, especially if you travel, is in your car or in your briefcase, keep a package of, I think they're called wet-ums, those wet cloths, that they give you when you have chips or something. Hold on, please. I'm sorry, I got something in my throat. The reason, these little packages you can get of them, take them, make sure that they're cold, and rub them on this section of your wrist. Just hold them there. And then put them by your neck. That will have the effect of calming you down and bringing you back to the center so that, again now, you can feel strong to go forward with whatever it is you choose to go forward with. If you are in your own home or in your own office and you get that edgy feeling, get a glass of water and drink the whole thing. Excuse me. That too will center you up. So then you're in a position to be able to move forward with clarity. The last thing to pay attention to here is the fact that we need to be realistic in what we set up for ourselves. So when you do your daily list, ask yourself, what is most important? What depends on something else? Please forgive me, I've been talking all morning and my throat's suggesting this isn't so good. When you prioritize your list, sit back for a moment. Don't write it out and say, well, that's effective, I'm going to go on and get on with it. Think about it. Because there are things that need to be done in an order. The more you can do that, the better. Each time you achieve one of those goals, put a check mark beside it, preferably with a red pen. And the reason for that is when we were in school, if you did something right, we got a red check. That is a confirmation. That's a thank you, I did it right. So do that for yourself. I apologize for this. I'm going to try and do a quick summary, and if we have questions, I can deal with them after. So the order of beginning to focus is, number 1, follow your own truth, do it your way, stay conscious, use breath to do it, and use little tips such as your dress, centering yourself with the use of water, give yourself check marks, and say thank you to yourself when you do something that supports your long-term goal. So there we go. And if there's questions, I'll be glad to answer them in a moment.
So, Phyllis, thank you so much. That really was really useful. And I do have a question, and I'll wait until you've had a chance to soften up the throat a little bit. We're all
Oh my word.
empathetic at this point.
Well, thank you very much. I usually, or I rarely get in this position. Right? I've been talking now for 7 hours, so I guess it's no wonder. Okay, what's your question, please?
Phyllis, you're talking about environment and the clean desk, and that resonates with me, of course. Are you suggesting that if we have to clean up our desk before we do a task that we need to do, that it would be better to make sure our desk is always clean so that that isn't a chore that presents itself that we can use as an escape?
Oh, most certainly. It's like my fridge. You'd be surprised how I'll try and duck out of things. And when I know I'm doing that, I know it's because I didn't finish something. And only I have the control over what I do.
So it's a symptom, it's a clue.
It's a clue to the fact that we're not following our own truth. We're not being true to ourselves. We're not following something that brings us a sense of balance.
And is that partly, if we have something that's important enough that we need to focus, that is the expression of our truth, and it will not always be comfortable?
There's two types of comfort, and let me give you an option. One sense of discomfort is when you stand at a cliff and you know if you go over that cliff, you're going to be in trouble. You're going to be dead. The other sense of discomfort is when you buy a ticket to go on the roller coaster and you're feeling very anxious, but you still go. You can tell within yourself, if it is the anxiousness of standing on a cliff, that is definitely not your truth. Leave the sucker alone. Try a different path. If it's the excitement of going on a roller coaster and you're just simply scared, okay, take it on. Does that make sense?
That is very clear. Thank you so much.
Any other questions?
Not a question for me so much as an acknowledgement. I find that I've been getting these messages recently, but they're almost coming after the fact because I am in the process of changing my life and changing my environment and ridding myself of all the external stresses, etc. So it's always nice to have it reinforced.
That's fabulous. That's fabulous. So that says that you're growing at a spiritual level. And that's always good.
Growing by downsizing.
It can be difficult, without a doubt, but it's very good at the same time.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Okay. So I hit the stop button before I said thank you for having me last week. And I have time today, and I apologize for coughing so through it. But anyway, I was pleased to be here, and I hope what I've said has given you something to think about and maybe to incorporate.
Thank you, Phyllis. That was excellent.
Great. All right, I will leave you to it.
Thank you, Phyllis. It's always wonderful hearing from you.
Take care. Bye-bye now.